that I would show you how I put a mask on a painting. This is of course a reproduction that doesn't have glass. And I'm actually going to take this bow off. I think it takes away from the fun effect of Miss Pierce being in a masquerade mask. So all I did here is very thin black piece of thread, and I just wrapped it around the picture frame, and I tucked the bow on top. I was thinking I could hang a little spider necklace here, which I still might do, but this bow is overwhelming for me. And then with the mask, I did the same thing. I cut a mask in an angle that her face was turned, and I'll show you how I did that just to give you an idea. And once again, I put a black thread across the picture frame. It's tied all the way around the frame and just tied off to the side. And then on the mask, I put little slits, and I just slit the mask over the thread. I folded the mask over by her nose first off when I was making it so I could be a little bit more proportion. But once again, with her head turned, you'd want it off proportion. But it's definitely one of those, you know, when you're moving, she kind of looks like she's following you. Not as much as I was hoping, but at least she's ready for the masquerade ball. I came across one of the masquerade balls that I planned for a nonprofit group, and I'm like, I'm gonna add it to Miss Pierce this year. So that's how I came up with it. And I've used black thread a lot. This is probably my very first Halloween decorations for a haunted house party. I strung a lot of them on a piece of tape lengthwise so that people would feel like they were walking through spider webs. I did that easily before I was 10 years old, maybe 11. I was inspired by Walt Disney and the Haunted Mansion, and also It's a Small World. So if you ever wonder where a lot of my creativity comes, it's Walt Disney. I read his books. I love how he never gave up. And he's inspired me to always just keep going and inventing. I still can't find the box of some of my key decorations, and I decided I think I'll do a lot more handmade, or as much as possible, just to keep going with this video for you. And when I find the boxes, I can use them next year. It would just take too much time. On the mantle here, so far I'll probably add more for the final tour, but these are the smaller of the two hurricane globes and brass candlesticks that I found at two different consignment stores. I had them at the other home. This mantle is very thin, so they worked out perfectly. I just put a piece of black gauze here to hide the string. I had to make this scrunched smaller to fit it, but I think it's cute. And I see I have a little tag there I have to tuck back up, but so that's another little decoration that I did here in the house. Once again, I'm going to show you a few things here and there as a little sneak peek, and then we'll do a Halloween home tour a little bit closer to Halloween. All right, I'm gonna show you how I measured out for Mrs. Pierce's mask. And I of course could have went a lot more elaborate, but I wanted to just do something quick and easy because I have a lot here to do around the house, and it's just a really nice little fun project. So I have this string, just a little piece of black thread tied around the frame all the way around. And I'm just gonna take the mask off here. I took a piece of paper and I held it up, and I wanted it to go into her hair on both sides. So I held it up and I measured out the size I wanted. Let me cut a piece just to show you. It's not going to be exact. I don't know if you can still hear me here. All right, so what I did was I took a piece of paper and I measured it first, but I want it to go, you know, past her ear and past her face here. So I'm just gonna cut this piece so that it is a rectangle. All right, don't have to get fancy here. I hope I'm in the screen here. I can probably do this on a table, but I wanted to show you how I actually did it because I did not take the artwork down. Then when I was playing with that, I kind of kept looking, where is the center of her nose? And it's right about here, so I'm gonna fold my paper right where her nose was. Okay. Willow just took off, probably saw a squirrel outside. All right, so I did that. Then I simply cut a mask for like the nose. So I started down at a point, I went up, kind of curved around, and you can do any style or look you want. I did the same near the top, and I did some finagling once it was up afterwards. You can do some zigzags, some juts. This is a really pointy one, but it will give you an idea of what I did. So I had that angled here. I kept going back and forth of where the eyes were. And I did the same over here. This one I did too small. So I'm gonna go back to the mask that I made her. And you can see that it's not even exactly the same because once again, the head is twisted. And I could have been a little more precise with her eyes. Once again, it's for fun. And then I did little slits on the end once I held it up so I could see where it was going to go. Oh, this is when I feel my shoulder, guys. My range of motion is definitely lessening here. And then you can slide it into place. Now, I put a little on the bottom here, just like a little tab, because since this is on a picture frame, it's not flat. So I just wanted to give a little height on the nose. You can move that around, and wherever her eyes are, you can change the size of the holes. And I even have the string higher on one side than the other to make for her head turn. Does that make sense? You can just play with it. Super easy peasy. I'd freak out if she looked at me right now. Just a few touches here in the dining room. I pulled out another set of the Baldwin brass candlesticks that I found on consignment. I grabbed a couple black books from the bookshelf and some more consignment finds here. The 2 lamps, the piece of furniture, the mirror. The only new items are the tree and the pumpkin. I'll add a few more details once again when I do the final house tour. Now, I'd love to remind you that in previous years I've done some Halloween videos. Last year is probably the most elaborate that I did, and if you're able to see the links below, I will leave that link. I know some of you watch on television, which you can't get to the links. If you want to do your a voice command or Google New England Fine Living YouTube Halloween video or something like that, it should pop up. In the kitchen, I grabbed this fun scarf at a consignment store just the other day. It's black and orange, and it's just perfect for the table. And then here's a good Queen Bess, and I just have the basket of apples and a few little touches. And the bottle in the back is one that I've already found things in the woods from some little foraging and digging and having some fun there. So once again, these are just slight little touches. Believe it or not, I'll probably be doing our Thanksgiving tree in a couple weeks, so all this will be changing. And then over here by the window, I just have the pumpkin on a stand. This is all 100% consignment also. The pumpkin, the garland, and the cake pedestal. Now in the distance, the mountain view, we'll see that a lot more once all of the leaves drop.
heading out for more mums and pumpkins. The color is really starting to turn here in New England, but it's a different year. Some of the trees are turning before the others, and then they're dropping their leaves when the others turn. So it's hit or miss depending on the area that we're driving through. But I thought I would show you a little pop of color here, and you'll see a little bit later also. But we're heading over to a farm stand. I just want to get a few more pumpkins for the house and some mums for color, and I'll probably get a few more this weekend as well. This little pumpkin I have on the front of the cart, you'll see it in a minute. I think it's going to be one of my favorites. It's actually yellow and orange striped. There it is. And here we are back at Sugarwood, and we're going to get a little bit of reflection here in the windshield. That will go in a moment. And pulling into the driveway, and I'm already looking forward to unloading the car and adding a pop of color. Looks like we have a dog food delivery at the door. I'm just going to pull up to the garage and unload my car. And like magic, poof, we have some pumpkins up over the bullseye glass over the door, willows watching every move I make. I added some pumpkins into a flower holder out front. I tucked our little metal witch in. And I'm realizing now that the mirror in the hall, which is centered on the hall wall, is not centered to the doorway. I don't know how I'm going to deal with that as an OCD person, but anyways. And then over on the side of the house, I first had some jack-o'-lanterns that glow, but I ended up taking them off of these urns, and I also have my grapevine wreaths on top of the urns. I just tucked in some flowers. Hopefully they're going to relax a little bit. And then the besom broom that we made last year. I don't know if you've seen that video, but I will also link that below. And in a moment, I want to show you my neighbor's house, or something she did over in her yard.
Let's check out what my neighbor did the other day, which I think is absolutely adorable. Here's a leaf.